Thursday, October 1st, 2020. Jae MEAL MANNERS, Level 5, Duration. Today is actually Sunday, October 4th, and I've already seen today's session. It was really, really, really good. So I could skip this reaction video for last Thursday, but I'm not going to skip it because you made a lot of mistakes on Thursday. The session was overall, to me, it was a big flop. There wasn't a lot of success on Thursday, and in order for you to understand the mistakes you made, we need to watch this video together so that you don't regress and go back to making those mistakes. You are actually quite off track on Thursday, which is why Jay has very little success in this session. You got off track a number of ways, I think. One is in this session on Thursday, you did things I hadn't seen before, and they certainly are not in the manual. So you did things that I didn't tell you to do. Another way you got off track is you didn't do the things I told you to do. Question, is there wiggle room between my training manual and your dog's success? There is. There's lots of wiggle room. There's lots of flexibilities. There's lots of ways to teach one dog a bunch of behaviors, much less many dogs. However, until you understand dog training better, until you have a better handle on how shaping works and how to teach meal manners, I'd like to suggest that you not try to operate in that wiggle space. I'd like you to just stick to the script. If the book says do it, please do it. If the book doesn't say do it, please don't do it. If you get an idea for something in between what the book says and what the book doesn't say, run it past me, please. If it's a good idea, I'll certainly tell you. I'll not only tell you that's a good idea, I'll update the book and tell everybody else to do it too. But until then, please stick to the script, okay? So in this session, my conclusion was, and actually it wasn't even a conclusion, my observation by the third or fourth rep is that you have lost the automatic sit, which is what you gained and trained her on in level 2. Level 2 goal was to get your dog to sit automatically when she sees you holding the bowl. She did that on level 2. She's not doing that here. She's having you hold the bowl for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You do not have an automatic sit in this session. The other thing that you lost ground on is the power of the release. Over the life of training Jay, you will have to teach her what free means for every behavior. That's just how dogs' brains works. They don't generalize. Check out the article on generalization in the manual, Opposites, Puppies versus Children. I talk about how dogs don't generalize in that article. So the goal on level 2 was to get the automatic sit. The prerequisite for level 5 was to already have an automatic sit. My conclusion after watching this video was you can't even stay on level 5. However, I am delighted to say, as of seeing today's session, Sunday's session, because you have already corrected a handful of the mistakes made on Thursday, you're good to go. You keep going the way you did it today, you and Jay will be highly successful. But again, I do think I need to review Thursday's session so that we don't repeat those mistakes.
Meal Manners, level 5.
The session starts with you telling her good. I'm going to just talk over that because we've already talked about it. Introducing the good marker belongs to objective 2 under level 5. So you should not be doing this. And when you do this, it won't look like that. That is not what I did in the video that I provided to you. So we'll talk about that when you get closer to it. The one thing I will point out specific to this repetition is after you tell her good a couple of times, you put the bowl on the floor and she did nothing to get you to put the bowl on the floor. One of the basic tenets of this meal manners training is that she asks you to put the bowl on the floor by sitting. You're about to put the bowl on the floor, she ain't asked you nothing. She's been sitting on the floor, lying on the floor for 20 seconds. So this is one way that you lost the automatic sit. By doing this right here, you broke the connection between her request by sitting and your response by putting the bowl down. That's broken in this repetition. Unfortunately, also in that rep, she got up before you released her. She only waited 4 seconds and she was off the floor. Karita comes in the room in a moment, and I was pleased to see. Tell me what you notice about Jay when Karita comes in and you go to the food. I know that Jay is delighted to see Karita, but Jay does something that is worth noting when you go to get the food. Come on in, Karita. I know you're out there. There you go. No, come on in. Come on in. So Jay is interested in Karita right here, but then she's more interested in you and the food. That's a good sign that she is very interested in the food right now. She passed up a distraction to follow you to the food. So we're on rep 2 now. You shook the bowl. That's not a good idea. And I want to rewind that a moment. I want to show you something that happened here. So this is where you shook the bowl right there. So this walking right here must be eliminated. When you were standing there, who knows, she might have been about to come and sit in front of you. But so you go right over there, shake the bowl. Don't shake the bowl. Don't do that. You stand still. She might have been, she's coming to, and you walk away. What? Stand still, dude. Now watch this. You stand still and it takes her half a second to sit down. Okay? So while you're holding the bowl before she sits, you cannot walk. The training manual says, hold the bowl, stand still. Once you're holding the bowl, that's all you do. There's no shaking of the bowl, and you just stand still. By walking away, you deteriorated the automatic sit. As soon as you stood still, she sat down. So now what should happen right now? She just sat down. What should happen? The bowl should come down to the floor. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. This happens. Again, breaking the connection for her between the sit and the bowl coming down. That was 8 seconds right there. She had to wait 8 seconds. She's not going to make the connection between asking for the bowl by sitting and getting the bowl if you allow extracurricular activities to occur in between those two events. She got up before you released her. She only waited 4 seconds.
Good girl.
We're on rep number 3. This is the absolute best rep of the evening. This is the best rep because Jay makes a mistake, but your reflexes kicked in, and while she got up prematurely to get the bowl, you beat her to the bowl and you picked it up. Then, because that mistake happened, she went into troubleshooting mode, and it is her longest wait. Not a coincidence that she had her longest wait in this section, 9 seconds after she'd made a mistake. Not a coincidence. That's why I said in the last video, we do not set the dog up for a failure. Absolutely not. But we push the envelope a little bit. And when they make a mistake, which is not a failure, her getting up isn't failure because she's not yet trained. But when the dog makes a mistake and we respond appropriately, they start troubleshooting. That is the best learning right there. So watch this session. Although I will also point out to you that while you're standing still, she's coming toward you. Maybe she was about to sit and you made the mistake of moving your feet. Watch here. She comes toward you, and before she can sit down, you back up. I know that you want distance, but that's not what you're communicating to Jay. All right? So I know that you were trying to get a little distance from her, but it doesn't work because she still takes a step towards you before you lower the bowl. So before she sits, just don't walk. Just hold the bowl and stand still. Don't move the feet. Do what you did today. Today, Sunday, October 4th. That was an awesome session. Do that. Don't do this. So let's keep watching. She's going to come toward you again. Don't sit down. Don't move your feet. And she will sit down right there. She sits down quickly if your feet aren't moving. So you lost the automatic sit because you were moving your feet and creating distractions. But on those occasions when you don't distract her and your feet are not moving, little girl sits down. That's how it's supposed to work. So the broken sit, that was your doing, and you can get it back. Okay? Now, she's going to get up prematurely, but you pick up the bowl. Let's watch you. You're going to head and put down the bowl. You take this step is okay. Don't take 3 steps. Just step back with the bowl down. Now, she's going to get up prematurely, but you pick it up in time. Awesome. She sits down immediately. And now this is troubleshooting. This is 9 seconds of troubleshooting. This is the best learning of the entire session right here. And you're able to release her after 9 seconds before she gets up. If you could have reps like that without setting her up for failure, cannot do that. But if you could have reps like that where she makes mistakes and you respond appropriately, no sighs, no huffing, no body language to express disappointment or displeasure, none of that. You respond appropriately, her success rate is going to go through the roof. Absolutely will. So that was her longest wait of the entire 15-minute session. She waited 9 seconds on that one. On this rep, she begins to give in to the distractions. I mean, that towel's been in here this whole time, but she leaves you holding the bowl for about 20 seconds while she sniffs the towel. That's an important clue from her that she's starting to check out. Look, if you were holding a T-bone steak, I'm going to rewind it, not that we would give her a T-bone steak because, they're not safe for dogs, but if you were holding one, do you think she would be sniffing the towel? No, because the T-bone steak would have greater value than the towel. Well, so should this food. The food in her bowl should have greater value to her than sniffing a towel on the floor. So if she starts sniffing the towel, she's telling you, I am beginning to check out. This is only rep number 4. And she's telling you, I'm starting to check out. So let's go back and look at that again, because when your feet weren't moving here. When she stops sniffing the towel, she looks up at you and she sits right down, which is great. She's sitting on your towel. You want your towel back, don't you? 1 step. Okay, don't too many steps. Just take one. Take a bigger step. So you can just take 1, okay? She hears voices, but she doesn't jump up. You are able to release her at 6 seconds after she left you holding the bowl for 20 seconds. So that was rep number 4. On rep number 5, she will follow you to the food. She's still engaged a little bit. You really gotta read her body language, and you have already increased the value of the food. So today's session went a lot better, but in the next rep, she's going to check out again. It's good that she's following you to the bowl right now, but we don't want to push it too many reps past the dog indicating that they're starting to check out, because you've got to quit before she quits. Take a look at this. When your feet were moving, let's see, she's going to come towards you. Your feet stop moving. She comes in to sit. She sat really quickly. 1 step, just take 1 step back, the bowl goes down. But unfortunately, she got to self-reward. I want you to see that moment again, because you actually had time to pick up the bowl. Watch, she hesitates when you bend over. Easy to see in hindsight, I know. Look, hesitate right there. You were in the clear to pick up the bowl. And I understand, kind of nervously, laughingly, you said, free again, don't do that. Don't repeat the command. That waters it down. You did that a couple of times in this session. That's how you'll quickly lose the meaning of a verbal command. If you say it repeatedly, or you say it when the dog isn't going to respond appropriately because they don't know what you're talking about, then you water down that verbal command and you make it meaningless. So look, if she gets up prematurely, okay, that's a clue right there. When she's doing that, she's indicating to you that she's, not only did she not follow you, but she found the top of a crate more interesting than you and the bowl of food that you're holding. If your dog gets up prematurely, I have said, don't pick up the bowl if they're eating, but it was if they're eating. I said if her face is already in the bowl, don't pick it up. And it's hard to gauge that timing sometimes. My timing's not perfect on that either, although Max doesn't get up prematurely anymore. But when he did, I didn't always get it right. So it's easy to watch a video and say, oh, you should have taken back the bowl. You probably didn't even see the hesitate when it happened. But I want to clarify that if the dog isn't eating out of the bowl, take the bowl back. Because self-rewarding will unravel some training faster than anything you know. Self-rewarding, it'll undo a bunch of aspects of training. Don't let her self-reward. Don't let your dog self-reward. We're on rep number 5. She sat very quickly. Why? Because your feet weren't moving. The ball goes down. When she turns back to the bowl, she just goes for it. What I want to know is, how did you not be here to the bowl on this repetition? How'd that happen? You were so close to the bowl, you should have got there in time. I've made the same mistake. I'm just saying, be aware of it, because right here, she is self-rewarding a handful of food twice in a row. Really, really not good. She's self-rewarding twice in a row. And then, after you pick up the bowl, she's going to find food on the floor and self-reward again. Not always avoidable, especially with the dry, crunchy food. Right there, she finds some food, so now she's self-rewarding again. Can't always avoid that, but you just want to be aware of it so you can try. This is rep number 7. On rep number 7, you shake the bowl again. And then you also do something I haven't seen you do before, and that is you lower the bowl to the floor. That one really baffled me. So this is way too much foot movement. Again, I think I understand that you were kind of trying to get her attention, shaking of the bowl. Remember, you can't do any of that. There's a reason why the training manual says hold the bowl and stand still. It's because you should hold the bowl and stand still. There's nothing about walking in there. There's nothing about shaking the bowl. There's nothing in there about lowering the bowl to get your dog's attention. Don't you know that if I thought those were good ideas, I would have told you by now? Stop that. That's not okay. You're not allowed to get your dog's attention. I know how to get a dog's attention. So right here, when she comes toward you, nose to the floor, and you're lowering the bowl. What the heck? Not okay. She sits down, but you have been holding the bowl for a minute. 57 seconds. She left you holding the bowl. Evidence that you lost the automatic sit. But tonight you got it back in your session today. Good stuff. Your communication to Jay needs to be that there's one way to get me to lower the bowl, and that's by you sitting. In that moment, by lowering the bowl, you told her very clearly, I will lower the bowl if you sniff the floor. Not what you want to communicate. This is rep number 8. You shake the bowl again on this repetition. You also lower the bowl on this repetition. She's following you. I'm glad for that. She's distracted. She's sniffing your pants. Again, you backed up when she comes towards you in this one. She might have been ready to sit down, but you backed up. The lowering the bowl. Oh. Okay, good sit, good sit. One step back is fine. Get the bowl to the floor quickly, that's fine. But because she's kind of checked out, when you release her, she don't move. And she heard you the first time, Sean. You cannot release your dog towards something they don't want. And she done told you she's checking out. She has told you she's not interested in the food anymore. It doesn't have high value to her anymore. So on that rep, that was rep number 8, she left you holding the bowl for 22 seconds before she sat down. And then you released her twice. Do you see how if you say the release word and she doesn't move, you devalue the release word? So don't set yourself up for feeling the need to say it twice, because it won't work in your favor. It'll work very much against your training. This is rep number 9. You shook the bowl. She's telling you, I'm not. That is so clear. Obviously, she knows you're holding food. Just watch your dog's body language. You lowered the bowl illegally. You told her, if you sniff the floor, I will lower the bowl for you. That is not what you want to communicate. The bowl only comes down when she asks for it by sitting. She's going to lay down here. You've been holding the bowl. This is going to be like 30 seconds, half a minute. You were holding the bowl on this rep. She lays down. I'm surprised she actually does get up when you release her. You wait about 7 seconds to release her, and surprisingly, she does get up. But rep number 7 should not have happened. This is rep number 9. Yeah, so watch her body language when she's checking out, when she's indicating to you that she's not into it. Don't push it. You're not going to get the result that you want. This last rep is going to take a while, so let's chat. Let's review some things while you prepare for this last rep. How to get back the automatic sit. And now that you've gotten it back, how to keep it. Number 1, do not distract your dog with movement. When she comes toward you, don't back up. Hold the bowl, stand still. Number 2, do not shake the bowl to get a reaction. You don't want a reaction. You don't want Jay to sit in response to anything you did. I saw that. You don't want her to sit in response to anything that you did. You want lowering the bowl to be a response to what she did. Number 3, put the bowl on the floor immediately after she sits, or she won't make the connection between her request by sitting and your response by putting the bowl down. No extracurricular activities in between. Number 4. Yeah, you were done a long time ago. Number 4. Do not lower the bowl unless she sits. In this video, you done told this girl there's 4 ways to get the bowl on the floor. You could sit, you could walk, you could sniff the floor, you could ignore me. All of that will get you the bowl on the floor. That's not what you want to communicate to your dog. Number 5, read your dog's body language. If she's ignoring you or she's acting like she doesn't know you're holding a bowl of food, that don't mean you shake it. That don't mean you lower it to tell it. She knows. She's telling you, I ain't into it. So always quit before your dog quits. And number 6, the number 1 way to get back and to keep the automatic sit is before you do a repetition, make sure that your dog wants the food, right? Why would she sit and ask you to lower the food if she don't want it? Make sure she wants the food before you not only come into a training session, but for every repetition, you have to assess your dog's food motivation. She don't want it. So this is how you devalued your release word, because now you're going to clear your throat and say it again. And she wasn't speedy going to the bowl. So that's how to get back and keep your automatic sit. Now here's how not to lose the free. How to get back and not devalue the free. The release word. Number 1, do not let her self-reward. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video because it's about to get real noisy. Yeah, as she pushes the bowl across the floor. How to get the right response to your release word. Number 1, do not let your dog self-reward. Pick up the bowl. If she gets up prematurely, as long as she's not eating out of it, which she shouldn't be if you're paying attention, take that bowl back. Do not let her self-reward. Number 2, release her before she gets up. Number 3, this is very important, this one here, and that is make sure she wants to move forward. Make sure she's still into it. If you release her when she doesn't want to get up, she's not going to move. You have watered down your verbal communication. The dog has to want to move forward when you release them. We talked about telling your kid you can go to the party, but they don't want to go to the party. Did you just add any value to their life by telling them they can go to the party? You didn't, because they didn't want to go anyway. So telling her, you can get up, you can go eat, and she doesn't want to eat, you're devaluing your release word. You're watering it down, which is going to work against you in all of your training. In fact, you actually give new meaning to the word free. Now it means, watch the video, because now it means don't do nothing, just sit there. That's what free means. When you repeat it, don't repeat it. So let me break it down for you. I understand why you repeated it. Like I said, and I've repeated commands to Max when I was younger in my dog training days. We tell ourselves, she didn't hear me. I didn't say it right. Those are natural considerations. But I've got a video I can show you, which I recorded intentionally, that I would give Max a command and he wouldn't follow it right away. And I had to resist for 30 seconds repeating the command. And Max did follow the command. Even after 30 seconds, I didn't repeat it. I knew he heard me. I'll show you that video. So here's what happens. So why did you want to repeat the command? It's because she didn't get up. Well, let's analyze this. Why didn't she get up? Because she didn't want to. She didn't want the food. Why didn't she want the food? It didn't have as much value to her, or she was full. So you can trace it right back to a cause that you can manage. You can manage that. You can't make her get up, but you can make her want the food. You can make that food tasty. You did it tonight. You met the mission. Tonight, in tonight's video, you solved. You didn't have any problems in tonight's video. She didn't get up prematurely, so she didn't get to troubleshoot, but she will. She will get to troubleshoot. Tonight's session was awesome. It was really good. I will critique that one as well, just so I can tell you all the wonderful things that you did. And I can show others how a really good session is supposed to go. That was a really good session tonight. But please review these tips on how not to lose, again, the automatic sit, and how not to devalue your release word, so that you and Jay can stay on this current trajectory that you're on towards success.